Well, all right, great start. Camera not focused, great start. All right. Well, we're back in the same chair talking about a Rangers elimination. Deja vu. I'm going to be honest here right off the rip. I apologize if anyone's here to watch me get angry, throw things, and get mad. I already did that last post game. I'm not there. I'm really not. There might be a point that I yell. I'll be honest, but I've already got my anger out after game 5, because after game 5, you just knew. You just knew that there was no way. The Florida Panthers, congratulations to them. They took a shit all over the Rangers. I mean, there's just no way around it. And the Rangers, if they learned anything, hopefully Chris Drury, that changes have to be made. What is there for me to say? Like, I simply am at the point where it's just, it is what it is. I was saying it all season long and got shit for it. But this is why I wanted changes, because as great as Artemi Panarin's regular season was, the question was, what was he going to do this postseason? Another no-show until he stat padded with a late goal in the series here in Game 6, because of course. He's not going to go anywhere. And that's really the issue here, right? Like, this is where I can't even be angry. I just feel lost and just am trying to figure out where this organization could even go, because you have so many guys with trade protection that it's going to be hard to move them, but there has to be changes. I mean, there's just no way. Simple as this, though. I can tell you right now, 2 guys that cannot be rostered next year, and it doesn't matter. Jacob Trouba cannot be rostered next year, and same with Ryan Lindgren. Those 2 cannot be on the roster next season if this team wants to be in the spot next year and potentially want to win. They both cannot be here next year. It's just that simple. In terms of the forward group, I don't know what you do there. Is it Kreider? Because he's the only one that has trade protection really lightened up after the fact that, or just the person that's on the biggest cap hit, I should say, with trade protection lightening up. Is it Chris Kreider? Do you find a way to get Zibanejad out? Because he is definitely not 1C. I don't know what to say. I mean, all I could say is that it's a tale as old as time with this organization. Goaltending, yet again, drags them as far as possible until it doesn't work anymore. And then you finally face a team better than you in every aspect of the game, and you lose. It's just how it is. That's why we're seeing the same result over and over and over and over and over and over again, dating back years now. I don't think I'm breaking news to anyone, but it's just the truth that goaltending masked the issues, and that's what we saw yet again. So, like I said, if the Rangers learn anything, and yeah, there was quit New York. I mean, they need to burn that thing down. The whole no quit New York thing, but it's not going to happen. They'll be back at it next year doing the same thing. All I know, though, is that if they learn anything, which you would hope, but this organization's pretty stubborn to that at times, if they learn anything, you have to hope that they watch what was on the other end of the ice and realize you need guys like that on your team. You need guys that are willing to rise to the occasion. You need guys that could move the puck efficiently. You need guys that are going to be pains in the ass to play against. And you need to have your goaltenders back. And that's what the Panthers had. And the Rangers just simply did not have that. And that's why we're talking about another failure of a season yet again. And I'm not here to say that was not a failure. No, there's no way around it. This was cup or bust. You won the President's Trophy. We've seen them win the President's Trophy. We've seen them win an Eastern Conference Finals. We've seen them go to the conference finals. It's a failure. There's just simply no way around it. So, yeah, a lot of changes need to be made. And I'm not happy either. I'll say this right now. I'm not happy with the way Laviolette coached this series, to be honest with you. I thought Paul Maurice really pantsed him a lot. And again, I'm not blaming Laviolette because at the end of the day, like we've talked about all season long, that it falls on the court at some point. But all I know is that Laviolette, he didn't make me happy this series because there was a lack of adjustment in the D zone all series long, a lack of adjustment on the forecheck all series long, and it doesn't help that he doesn't have the guys to do it, so I get it, but there was a lack of adjustment all around. The lineup he overplayed at times, in terms of just overthinking the lineup, I should say. But again, at the end of the day, what am I supposed to say when the star players didn't show up, outside of if you want to consider Trocheck and Lafreniere star players, and the depth didn't show up because Roslovic and Wenberg were probably some of the worst deadline acquisitions I've seen in my lifetime, and which I don't want to say I was right, but because I'm not happy to be right, but this is why I was screaming at the deadline, because I just wasn't impressed with the moves at all. And you know, you had guys like Will Cooley and Matt Rempe who are just so raw to the league and are too new to the league that you didn't get anything quality from them. The defense needs the most changes, you could argue. Trouba's not cutting it. Lindgren's not cutting it. I will even make a conversation right now about... No, I'm not even going to say the last guy I was going to say. I saw it in the chat, though, but once I'm cooled off more in a few days, maybe, just maybe, when I have my full collective thoughts, I could bring it up. But, and yeah, I mean, the writing was on the wall with that one. No, it's not wild. It's called I want to see a competitive hockey team, and I want to see my team win a Stanley Cup. It's really not wild, to be honest with you. Why am I bashing Lindgren? Because he doesn't solve to the problem at all. It's a guy that does not move the puck, gets caught lacking, and you just weren't going to beat this team with guys like that. I know Fox is playing banged up, but I'll tell you right now, I mean, I'm not starting a Fox dialogue unless next postseason is it, though, for an Adam Fox discussion. I'll tell you that. I mean, I'm not there yet with Adam Fox. I will give him the benefit of the doubt with the injury, but I'll tell you right now, next year, if it's a no-show from him, I mean, then I'll be ripping into Adam Fox. I can tell you that, but and we'll find out what the Fox injury is, but I don't know. All I know is that you got beat by a team that is a country mile better than you, and the only reason you were in this series was Igor Shesterkin. Like, if we're gonna look at ourselves in the mirror and be real, like, come on. Like, could we just dissect this for a second? Like, come on. How could you not say... I'm sorry, how could anybody look at me and say that Igor Shesterkin's not the reason they were in this series? Like, you got contributions from Lafreniere, Gaudreau, Trocheck. That's great, but that was it. Like, that was really it. It was Igor. It was Igor all series long. And that's where my concern is that they need to build in front of their goalie, and it's just the part that's so difficult for me to I'm trying to think of even the word. The part that's difficult for me to just like move by is that it's just the same story. You know, like, that's why I'm not even mad right now. It's just the same story where the goaltenders let down. John, thank you for the $10 super chat. I really do appreciate you a ton. Why this team continued to go east-west when it hasn't worked pissed me off. Igor deserves better. Cats exposed the defense Drury built, which is pathetic. And how did Zach Jones not get a chance? I don't know. That's also why, again, I was not happy with Laviolette. I don't understand how Zach Jones didn't get an opportunity, really. But at the end of the day, what's done is done. But you're right about everything you said. The east-west, the stretch passes killed them. And this was just not the favorable matchup either. Like, let's be real here. Like I mentioned in the preview for tonight's game, I said that the way you beat Florida is you catch their D-men pinching and you try and create rush opportunities with that. The problem is this team doesn't have speed, which we talked about all year. And the biggest issue that we talked about all season long that got glorified in this entire series is how poor they are at breaking the puck out. So there was just no favorable matchup there. There just wasn't. And that's where you have to get the guys that could do it. They didn't have the guys that could do it. If I'm Igor, I'm requesting a trade. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't friggin' blame him. And I can't disagree with anyone. The team looked soft the entire series. I'm sad too. But I also, like I said, have kind of gotten my anger and frustration, all that out after game 5 because I expected the outcome. Like, I felt like they were going to go into this game and win. I won't lie. In my preview, like I said that I thought they were going to win tonight and grab one. And then whatever happens in 7 happens. But then there's that part of me that realizes after game 5, I wasn't irrational for my thoughts. And everything that I felt was justified. Pretty much the entire season summed up. And I got a lot of shit for it. But how many times I mentioned on these post-game shows, they have to improve the breakouts. They have to improve the breakouts. They have to improve it or it's going to bite them in the ass come playoff time at some point. And sure enough, that's what ultimately bit them in the ass more than anything. I mean, I can't say I like it as a Ranger fan, but if I'm Igor Shesterkin, I'm whacking every single guy in the locker room because he has to hear those chants every single year from every single fan base because they just no show in front of him. I'm not there. It is what it is. It's banter. It's sports. Like, we'd be doing the same thing if the Rangers were annihilating Sergei Bobrovsky. We would have done the same exact thing. Let's not pretend we wouldn't have. I'm not there. And yeah, I mean, from the forward group, Kakko's one that can't be back. To watch the Mets. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, Mika was not good. He wasn't. Zach Jones should have played and gotten experience. Keandre Miller and Jacob Trouba were terrible in the series with all the giveaways. Yeah. And, you know, I'll be honest, Keandre Miller is the other guy that I was thinking in my head where it's like, do you consider that? You know? Evan, you have been talking about the issues for months and months, and this moment is a testament to the changes that need to be made. That's exactly my point. And that's why whenever people were saying you're overreacting, you're getting pissed off, that's why I said throughout the season, every time they got a win, and I said, all right, I'm happy they got the win, but they need to improve. It was all true. Like, I was very happy that they were winning. You don't think I was happy that they were winning all these games? I was as happy as anyone. But I knew when it came down to it, if this team wanted to win a Stanley Cup, things like that were not going to fly come playoff time. And quite frankly, I was right to react the way I did during the regular season. So there you go. Which, listen, that's a lesson learned for all of us, though. With the regular season, you need to develop good habits. You simply need to. Otherwise, those habits that are poor are going to come playoff time. So there's no way around it. So I think that should change the way all of us look at the regular season and realize it's great if they're racking up wins, but that's the bare minimum to get to the playoffs. We need to see good habits and we need to see them play responsible hockey. And again, I get it. It's an 82 game season. They're not going to play perfect every single night. I completely understand that. But you need to see them at least in a good amount. Like, you can't see habits like the breakouts were all season long just be an issue and just ignore that, you know? Like, if there's a glaring issue, there's a glaring issue that needs to be addressed. And I've been bashing the whole team. I'm bashing Kakko. Like, he wasn't good this entire postseason. He just wasn't. But I'm not giving any, believe me, I'm not giving anyone a pass. You think I'm giving guys like Jack Roslovic a pass and Alex Wenberg, and especially the core players who continue to fail year in and year out? Something has to change with one of the core guys. It's just that simple. If they don't move one of the core guys, they're just going to do the same thing again and expect a different outcome, and it's not going to happen. And we're just going to sit here for the same 82 games next season and then think, maybe. And then playoffs will come around. They'll face a team that is better than them, and goaltending will only take them so far. And it will be the same result if they don't change anything with the core. I mean, there's no way around it. Like, I'm just being completely transparent with everyone. Believe me. I'm not looking to single out any player, because at the end of the day, the only players that deserve any sort of pass for the postseason is Igor Shesterkin for bailing them out night in and night out. You can maybe throw it to Adam Fox because he was playing hurt, but even then, we'll find out more with that. Vinny Trocheck gets a pass. He was baller all postseason. Lafreniere, balls to the wall. Goudreau didn't have a good game. Balls to the wall this postseason. And Phil Peedle you can maybe throw in there because the guy missed 70-something games this season and was thrusted back into action during a deep playoff run. So, yeah, they got to make changes to the core. It's that simple. And listen, they got to explore something. Whether it's Mika, whether it's Kreider, they got to make a change, because at the very least, you move one of those guys, it sends a message that nobody's safe, because guys are too complacent. And that was my biggest issue with Laviolette throughout this postseason, is that he made guys complacent. But again, at the end of the day, it's hard to get mad at him when he doesn't really have a lot of tools in the toolbox to work with. And that's what's even more annoying, is that there really wasn't a lot to work with for him to cycle out some of the guys. So how am I supposed to get mad at him entirely with that aspect of things? Systematically, would have liked some more adjustments, but I don't see it. Sorry, I don't see it with this core. And I don't know how we justify it. I really don't. And my reasoning is 3 coaches in, same outcome every year. Guys just aren't getting it done. Like, at some point, it's the players. How much longer are we giving them a pass? Is next year the one that breaks the straw that breaks the camel's back? Because I mean, I'm just fed up with it personally. You're entitled to your own opinion at the end of the day, but me personally, I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm simply not going to sit here and say that the core deserves another chance right now to run it back. You have to move, especially a guy like Trouba. He is unplayable. I don't care if it's a buyout. I do not care if it's a trade with 50% retention. I do not care what it is. He cannot be on the roster next year. I don't know what he's like in the room, but his on-ice play is not captain material. It's just not. And yeah, Roslovic did miss an open net. Coarse cooked t-shirt. And yeah, always leaving Igor out to dry. Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate opposing fans that are respectable. If you trade one of those guys who have been playing together this long, it will ruin the confidence and team will not be the same. There's a lot of unity here. All right, well, if that's an issue, then maybe get rid of more of these assholes. Sorry. But if guys are going to be complacent and think they could get away with playing nonchalant hockey come playoff time, sorry, then more guys got to go. More heads have to roll because you have to send a message by breaking up the core. At least one or two pieces. Sorry, you have to. And again, if that ruins confidence and that like divides the room or whatever words you want to use, then that says you have poor leadership. That says that there's a problem with the organization, and that says that the core itself is the issue and they can't handle any sort of accountability. And that's the biggest thing. If you can't handle accountability, then that's on you. Then that's on you. Then maybe you're not meant for this. Then maybe you don't belong on a cup team. Brody, thank you for the $10 super chat. Really do appreciate that. Sucks to be here again, Evan. Just want to thank you for all you do, pal. You said my thoughts. We don't win with soft Mikas or 1C nor slow as fuck Truba on D. And that's just for starts. Thank you so much for the $10. And I appreciate all the kind words that you said, Brody. Yeah, I mean, that's really where we are right now, though. And it is. Lafreniere was the best forward. Thank you for the $2. Rip the C off of the loser chest. Thank you, Matt, though, for the $2. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, they gotta make some sort of change in leadership one way or the other. I try my best, Chris T. I try my best. Yeah, I mean, to any Panthers fan here, I congratulations to them. Even though I predicted the Rangers to win the series, you knew it was gonna be, you knew it was gonna be a fight. And the Panthers, I was wrong about in terms of them not winning the series because, I mean, they just slaughtered the freaking Rangers, and I bought in like a sucker when I shouldn't have, and I should have known better with Igor carrying everything. I should have known better, but it is what it is. How can you trade these guys when they have huge contracts? We don't know the cap situation yet. How do we buy or eat these contracts? What you can do is a guy like Chris, if you want to get Mika Zibanejad out of here, there's simply one way you even have a chance to do it. Well, first of all, if you try trading him, maybe that's a way to get him out, because why would he want to stay in a place where, you know, management doesn't like him and wants to trade him? That's first of all. Second of all, you could simply say, all right, well, Kreider's no trade clause thankfully lightened up to a modified, so it's either you or him. Pick who goes, and he could either pick himself and save Chris Kreider his fate as a Ranger, or it will be Chris Kreider on the move. So one of those two could go. Just spitballing an idea. I'm not saying that's going to be the way it goes down, but I'm just spitballing an idea of how you get rid of those big contracts, because you're right, it's going to be difficult too. Jacob Trouba is the biggest issue of them all in terms of getting rid of. And again, that's probably going to have to be a buyout, because I don't know who the hell is taking Jacob Trouba on their team. And I know Zibanejad has a full no move clause. That's why, like I said, if you want to move him, all you could simply do is threaten the trade Kreider and say it's either you or him. And one of the guys go. But I'm telling you right now, they have to make a core change, or else it's going to be the same thing next year. I'm just being real with you guys. I'm not here to sugarcoat things. I'm not even yelling, screaming, or anything. Like, I'm just not there, because I'm at the point where it's like, it's just, again, I got my anger out, and if they don't make a change, then what's the point of getting mad? Because it's just going to be the same thing. The definition of insanity, said it before, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Pavs fan here gave us a hell of a series. What moves need to be made that they could beat a team like the Panthers? I mean, simply put, they need to get guys that are better at moving the puck, because that's the only way you expose the Florida Panthers, and the Rangers just simply have none of that. And the only guy they did have was in the press box, and they need to get more physicality, and they need their star guy simply to just show up and get to the middle of the ice. I mean, how many shots tonight came from the blue line from this Rangers team? How many shots? That's all. Like, that's all they were doing, was firing pucks from the blue line and praying for a rebound to go their way. The problem is Florida was protecting the house entirely, but God forbid the Rangers try to get bodies in front and try to draw penalties even in front. But again, I don't know. That's why I say the core needs to be changed, because if you have the guys that aren't willing to do it and play the type of brand of hockey to win this time of year, then it is what it is. Like, you're just not going to do it. And yeah, I agree. That's why I screamed my head off at the deadline. Believe me, I haven't witnessed them freaking win, and that's why I'm really just so fed up with it all. Most of all, like, a lot of people have, at least there's a good amount of people in the chat that have witnessed them win a cup. And I know that's been a while and it's frustrating for a lot of people, but be grateful you've had the opportunity, because I would do anything, and it just hasn't happened. So yeah. All I know is that I will say this too. Just because we haven't even touched on it with Chris Drury, all I could say is that I don't think he gets fired this offseason. I think it's unrealistic to think that. Whether you think he should or shouldn't, it's unrealistic to think that, because at the end of the day, this team won the President's Trophy, got to the conference finals on paper. That's good enough for Dolan. But they're not going to fire Drury. But all I could say right now is that if Drury keeps the band together and next season they have a similar result where they don't get it done, then he simply has to go. At that point, I want to make it very clear, I am not advocating for it right now, even though I'm not happy with Chris Drury whatsoever and the way that he approaches deadline. Which, again, granted, it really would have mattered because the star players didn't show up. But you also could argue it would have, because a lot of these were 1-goal games because your goaltender kept it in. I don't know. But all I know is that he didn't do enough at the deadline to help the team. And I'm not happy with Drury, but he's not going to get fired. I know it's unrealistic, but all I could say is that he's got to go if this is the result next year. He's got to go. Thank you for the $10, Dominic. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here with us. I know we were disagreeing on things, but we want the same result. Had a great time coming here after games. Listen to your comment. Thank you for that. Appreciate it, Dominic. And again, I don't expect everyone to agree with my takes 24/7. Like, it is what it is. Nobody's going to agree with me 24/7, but as long as you're respectful about opinions, I really don't care what your opinion is. But yeah, that's what makes it great. That's what it is at the end of the day. That's hockey talk. We all want the same thing. Just we have different ideas maybe of getting there, and it is what it is. Entire team was absent again, except Igor. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I want to make it clear. I'm not saying that they are going to. I'm saying they should. Otherwise, I mean, next year is just going to be, I don't even know what to say about next year. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And no, Drury's not getting fired. I know. I agree with you guys. Like I said, I want to make it clear that he's not getting fired. I'm just saying that if shit hits the fan again, then he's got to go at that point. At that point, you can't keep him around. I have not gave Miller a pass. I was getting on him earlier in the stream. I'm not happy with the way Miller played either. Not happy with the way Miller played this series at all. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I will not take credit. I had a graphic designer do that for me, but I appreciate that a lot. I don't. I'm not interested in Jim Rutherford. I if they're getting a guy, they need a guy that knows what a computer is. I'm not about Jim Rutherford at all. I know he's had success in the past, but again, that was before, computers were invented. Uh, Excel was used. All that. They need a guy that if they're gonna do the whole do a GM replacement, they need. I don't know. I'm not even gonna have that conversation because they're not gonna make a GM change. And at the end of the day, right now, it's hard to argue for it, even though I'm not pleased with the way Drury handled the deadline, like I said. And I'm not happy with the fact that he passed up on the fact that Patrick Kane did want to return to this team, and he passed up on the opportunity because yay Blake Wheeler and yay Nick Bonino. But my camera getting out of focus again. That's why I'm doing this. If you guys are confused, and it's just there we go, a little bit back in focus. That's what I want, but again, it's not gonna happen. Who needs to come to this team for them to win it all? I have no idea who those guys are. I have zero clue. All I know is that Drury has to find those guys. Could say right now though, there are so many guys this freaking offseason that I was on my I was just begging for this offseason, and it was just so painful to watch some of those guys have success elsewhere. Like, I was begging for Kane to come back. He did good in Detroit. Could my camera just stay focused for like more than 2 minutes? Damn. I was begging for Danton Heinen to get just a PTO. He signed a PTO in Boston. That guy was so good for the fourth line, in the bottom six for Boston, I should say. I wanted a guy like Craig Smith. That guy's been so good for Dallas. It's like, but at the end of the day, I'm not the GM. But Drury needs to find those type of guys and improve, the depth of this team on top of other things. Appreciate the $10 dono, $3.99, really do. Start watching midseason, love connecting with other Ranger and hockey fans. Let's go Rangers, Laffy and Vinny. The future is bright. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. But yeah, I'm very happy with the way Lafreniere played this postseason. You got to hope that that's going to translate to next season. I would love Brady Tkachuk on this team. I would love Brady Tkachuk on this team. Yeah, they should have. They should have. Fair argument, but I don't know. Like, to me, I want... No, I'm just trying to exaggerate that. Take a jab at the guy for being old a bit. But no, I get that he has the track record, and I know that there's some success there, but I don't know. I don't know. I just feel that if there's going to be a change, I don't even know what the right type of executive would be, to be honest with you. Like, I really don't. But all I know is that I will say this: if it is Rutherford, at least it's someone from the outside. Because if they did make a change there, it has to be somebody from the outside. They cannot promote from the inside. Kane didn't do much for the Rangers last year. Why would I want him? Because he was playing hurt last year, and he's playing healthy now. That's why I wanted him back. And the guy still outperformed all the core guys in the postseason last year, despite playing on one hip. And, that's why I wanted him back, because I knew him being healthy, you knew he was just going to be on a warpath. Thank you for the $5. Really do appreciate that. Hurricanes Cat fan here. Respect to you and the Rangers. I appreciate their content and being a realistic fan. Go Panthers, though, baby. Can't agree with the last part there, for your sake. But, yeah, at the end of the day, I keep it real here. Keep it real. I'm not here to sugarcoat things. But, yeah, I appreciate that a lot. And I appreciate you being a respectful opposing fan. I don't know what a trade for Brady Tkachuk would look like. I'm not sure. And yeah, I mean, this is the thing that we questioned throughout all the season, and especially in January when they were in that skid, is does this team have the mental makeup to go the distance? And long story short, the answer is no. Let's see. Listen, if Chris Knobloch wins a cup, good for him. But at the end of the day, the Rangers made the hire that they need to. Like, again, I'm not happy with the lack of adjustments it seemed like with Laviolette throughout the series in terms of the system. But at the end of the day, they made the hire they had to. They had to get a guy with experience, and that was going to change things in that regard. Like, and Edmonton needed more of a guy that is the Knobloch style. Like, it's just a matter of fits with that. And again, like, good for him if he wins, but the fit was here with Knobloch. And no, you're not wrong. And we all said it. And you, myself, you, Mike, myself, and a lot of other fans heard shit from it. Heard shit for it throughout a lot of the season. Just for the fact that we ended up being correct about that, and we don't want to be right, but we unfortunately were. And I'm not saying it's entirely on Laviolette, but I'm still not a fan of the fact that he had the man-on-man D-zone structure. I wasn't a fan of that, especially because of the way Florida pants Carolina last year. I don't get why you resort to that. And honestly, like, you could argue either one is concerning to see from your core players to begin with, though. Whether it's Florida killing you or it's the fact that they did choke. I think it's a combination of both, but that's a problem either way, because that just shows you're not built to win. No. None of the deadline guys are going to stay, and nor should they. Unless Ruedel wants to stay for a cheap deal to stay around as a 7th D-man. In terms of Kakko, yeah, I'd move. I'd want Kakko moved. I watch the Mets. I'm not watching sports for a bit, man. To each their own. No. I can't do that. I just can't. President's Trophy for nothing, yeah. Yeah. Again, we've seen it before. I'd rather watch Game 6 on repeat than the Mets. Rather just not watch sports. It's fine. There's plenty of hobbies for me to take up this summer to get my mind off of this freaking shit for a bit. But we will be back with content, of course. Like, obviously, we get down still with it come the off season. There will be draft streams. There will be obviously free agent streams when things roll around. But yeah, that we'll be here within even a couple days. We'll be back streaming, probably just talking more about the season when all of us are kind of, collectively cooled down and, see how much of what we're saying right now we truly mean. But I'll tell you right now, I've been having some of these thoughts for a couple of days. I don't know if I'm really going to change my thoughts at all. And I don't get the man-on-man defense thing. I wasn't a fan. The VC contract's it's not like it's impossible to get out of that contract if they want to. I'm not worried about the VC contract. I don't like Jimmy VC on the fourth line and in the bottom six, but it's not like you can't get out of that contract. Like, that's the least of my worries right now is what are they going to do about Jimmy VC? Some President's Trophy curse comments, yeah. I don't know why that's still even a narrative. Some teams just are better in the playoffs. Like, I don't know. And one team wins it every year. It's just not going to be the top team every year. But whatever. Yeah, Kane's a free agent again. Who's playing Florida, in my opinion? Based on the way Dallas played last game, I would say Edmonton right now. But so far, things have, followed the same pattern, too, with the series. So maybe Edmonton. Listen, I don't hate the contract. Like, I don't mind VC kicking around as a rotational forward, but you need more from, I don't know. I just think you need more sandpaper in that bottom six, and VC just didn't bring enough of that sandpaper. I'm not saying it was a good season. No. I've seen this team in the conference finals way too many times to say this is a good season. At some point, you got to freaking win. Like, and this was the year to do it. You took care of a team finally in 4 games in the first round. Carolina, you almost swept them, but you end up winning in 6 there. Still good enough there. And then Florida just killed you. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep discounting the President's Trophy curse. I don't buy it. Like I said, one team wins the cup every year. It's just not going to be the top team every year. If the best team won every year, then why are we even playing the playoffs? You might as well just give the cup to the team that won the President's Trophy at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's Laviolette's fault, but I wasn't happy with the man-on-man. Yeah, men versus boys. That's what the series was. Yeah, one cup in 84 years, and I'm embarrassed of it, even though I have no control over it. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a fan. So, and yeah, if they raise a banner for that, please help me. I don't know who's gone yet. You got to ask me that question in a couple weeks, Luke, and I appreciate you. You're one of the loyal viewers, but I can't answer that right now, personally. I really just can't. And I agree, yeah. That's why when the team won the President's Trophy and fans were saying, like, it was destined to be the year and everything, that's why I said, could we slow our roll here? Because there's a reason that we play the playoff games, and teams could be different in the playoffs or in the regular season versus the playoffs, and that's what we saw with the Rangers. They just weren't built for winning 16. Yeah, I mean, Berard's probably going to get a shot next year. Saw someone say move on from Brett. Thoughts? They're probably not getting out of that deal, but if they were able to, I'll be very honest with you. I would explore it. I really would. I don't know. Othman too. We'll get a look. Who do I prefer, Gensel or Reinhardt? Gensel. But neither are going to be Rangers. That's way too out of their price range unless they're making significant changes where significant cap is being moved. They're not getting either. Realistically, you're going to look at them shop in the Sprong territory, the Canes of the world, the maybe a reunion even with Tarasenko, even though he has not impressed me this postseason. Even though I know he got the dagger, I know, I get it, rub it in. Yes, go ahead. Um, but no, outside of that, like I haven't been, I don't know, I haven't been overly impressed. I think the Marchessault conversation could be had there, but I don't think a guy like, I think Gensel and Reinhardt's just way too out of their price range. I'm not worried about, I'm not worried about that. I don't think that's a problem. I really don't. Fans aren't the reason teams lose a game. The if anything, if the players hear us chanting stuff like that, it should motivate them to back up their fan base. That's what it should do. Motivate them to back up their fan base, but it didn't. I would explore Chikrin potentially, but I don't know how much that's the answer either. To be completely real with you, I just don't know what the answer is. I don't, and that's why I can't even say anything right now. Is I just have zero clue right now what the answer is. But all I know is that this team has scored in their excluding the bubble, in their past 5 postseason games where they've been knocked out, they've combined for what? Because they got shut out against Tampa Bay in 2015. They got 2 goals against Ottawa in 2017. Got 1 goal against Tampa, shut out by New Jersey, and 1 goal tonight. So they have what, like 4? Yeah, because they have 4 goals combined in those games. I know some of them are a different group, but yeesh, it's just, again, it gets to the same problem that goaltending's masking the issues. Yeah, Seth Jarvis is not happening. Jarvis is staying in Carolina. Nate just is realistic, but I don't know if I want. I don't know if I would explore that. I don't know. I'm not a Nature's guy personally. I mean, it is what it is. Kind of is what it is. Like I don't know. I'm beyond the point of even yelling and being like overly upset, even though like deep down I am upset. And I'm gonna be staring at my ceiling tonight, trying to sleep. Won't be able to. Because I care for some reason so much about men that play freaking sport, but it is what it is. Like I'm it's out of my control. And at the end of the day, all I could do is just hope that things will be different. And will it? I don't know. But it's just frustrating that, you know, I'm just so passionate about this and I just want to see one. But again, it is what it is. At least you saw the Pens win a lot. Seen the Pens win a lot. I'm begging for one, begging for scraps. I didn't even see that. I shut the game immediately when it ended. I couldn't even bother to watch the handshakes. I couldn't bother to watch the trophy celebration. I shut that game immediately. But yeah, that's upsetting. I mean, yeah, I've always said that like there's a difference between criticism and like being an asshole. Like, people get mad at me for criticizing players, but sorry, if you're not performing, I'm gonna criticize you. But I'll never say anything like personally bad about players, because that's just too far an extreme, because these guys are human at the end of the day. Like, I'm not gonna stoop to that level. I just think that it's stupid and immature. But unfortunately, some people just are the way they are. Svechnikov's not happening either, yeah. The problem is he's had a couple postseasons here to be motivated now. I don't know what's going to happen with Brady Tkachuk, but if, I want to say if he becomes available, and again, I will make it clear, if he's available, because I'm not saying he will be, the Rangers have to be all over someone like that, because he would be the type of guy they need. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Like I said before, yeah, if you're able to get him to waive, yeah, I'm not joking about that, and it's not an overreaction. Like, how many times are we gonna celebrate regular season success for him to no show in the playoffs? I can tell you right now, I'll be happy if Panarin does if he stays, of course, which he's probably going to, so I shouldn't even say that, but you know, I'll say right now with Panarin's regular season next year, I'll be happy if he performs and helps him win games, but to me, it's like I can't even celebrate it the way that I did this year. Like, this year, I was clamoring for the guy to get MVP votes, and I was pushing MVP chance for the guy, and he let us down again in the playoffs. So, it's unfortunate, but that's what happened. That's why I said if. It's just sad. The Rangers have one first-round pick this year, and they gotta get a defensive prospect if they could, unless a good forward falls into their lap. Because the defensive pipeline's not looking great right now. I'm not saying Panarin was the main problem, but he definitely wasn't part of the solution. And he... okay, great. He had 49 goals. Yeah. What has he done in the postseason? I'm sorry, but what has he done in the postseason for this team? Outside of getting some game-winning goals against Washington, and then one against Carolina? I'm sorry, but his postseason play is not good enough. It's unacceptable, and he plays like a coward when the playoffs come around. You need to step up, like Logan said. If you don't step up in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. Look at Huberdeau. The guy was getting 100 points at will in Florida. They moved the guy for a guy who's a playoff performer, and really built himself as that in Florida, in Matthew Tkachuk. And now they're 4 wins away from winning the cup, potentially. He's scared to take a hit. The problem with Matthews is I'd like to see what he would do in the playoffs when, well, one, he was sick this year. 2, I'd like to see what he probably had a concussion too. That's what the word was going around. But I'd also like to see what he would do if he had competent talent around him that didn't disappear in the playoffs, like Mitch Marner, who's playing on his line predominantly. With Panarin, I mean, the excuses are over. I'm sorry, but the 2 best playoff performers on this team were Trocheck and Lafreniere, his line mates, and he still couldn't get it done. He looked like the passenger on that line when he's supposed to be driving the play. So I don't know. Panarin and for a guy who said that they have to win the Stanley Cup this year, he looked like he went into a complete shell when the playoffs started yet again. And this is it. They need dogs. They need hard gritty motherfuckers. I mean, look at the team that just beat you, man. Look at the team that just beat you. They have dogs, that Panthers team. They have guys with balls and heart. Vegas last year. I know they manipulated the cap a lot with the LTIR, but last year, it's just simple. Those guys are dogs. Yeah, I was happy with Lafreniere's year, especially after the way I was getting on him in the preseason. That's one thing I will say I was definitely very wrong about. But I couldn't be any happier to be wrong. But he has to get an extension. And this is it too, you know? Take guys that 225 goal scorers who produce in the playoffs over one 49 goal scorer who becomes a ghost in the playoffs. I couldn't have said it better myself. Couldn't have. I mean, like, look at the depth that the Rangers acquired. And, why am I trying to blank right now? Oh my god. Why am I blanking right now? The Gabrick deal, right? The Gabrick deal. Like, look at the depth that they acquired in that deal. And obviously, you know, you look at that deal and like Dorsett, fourth liner, John Moore, not much, but like, you know, obviously I'm saying you'd want better than guys like Dorsett, but you get some like serious depth there. And look at how big Brassard was come playoff time for the Rangers. You know? I'm sorry, I can't get behind that narrative. They had plenty of cap space to make better moves. But I'm not saying it's entirely on the deadline because the star guys disappeared again, but Drury does have to get blame. Yeah, there's a reason he was big game brass. And then Mika Zibanejad. Mika Zibanejad, the guy that he was traded for. Very ironic, isn't it? And yeah, he's not a first-line center. And that's another issue that the Rangers had throughout their runs with Lundqvist. They didn't have a number one center. Not even mad, just disappointed. That's how I feel. Yeah, I miss Jesper Foss too. I do. Barkov was in Zibanejad's grill. I don't know. I don't know. The problem is, B-Rye, that Zibanejad has looked gone. He seems to be gone. And the guy, I mean, even that season, let's be real here. A lot of it's the power play. And this team, how many times have we said it? They need to be better at 5v5. Jacob Trouba is not captain material. Jacob Trouba is not captain material at all. Yeah, same with me, but and that too. I mean, celebrating what a guy did 2 seasons ago, I'm not there. And Laviolette not changing the first power play unit's another thing that really bothered me. Like, how do you not make a change on the power play when it went 1 for 4, or I guess 1 for 15, right, by the end of it? But I don't get it. And yeah, this is it. The core doesn't have it. They're just not a good 5v5 team. And if you don't improve that, like we keep saying, it's going to be the same result every year, whether people want to admit it or not. You could say run it back, but okay, run it back, but I don't expect a different result. I never discredited the Panthers and I gave them the flowers, but if you also paid attention, the Rangers won the President's Trophy and should be capable of way more than this, but unfortunately they weren't. And again, I give my credit where it's due. The Panthers were a dominant team and looked like men, where the Rangers looked like boys, but you can't simply deny the fact that if the Rangers even were just playing half to the capabilities that they were, and just even one of their stars show up, we're probably talking about a game that's going to 7 right now. But nope. And you can't run it back. You can't run it back at all. There's just no way you can. And this is it too. Playoff hockey's not the same. I'm not disagreeing with that. And that's why I'm saying it's annoying. Because it's the same thing. I'm not celebrating the President's Trophy. Nobody is in here. But I'm simply just saying the fact that if you're just going to be arrogant and just say that the Rangers had no chance in the series, then I'm sorry. But as long as they had Igor Shesterkin, who is a part of the team at the end of the day, they had a chance in the series. And that's ultimately what got them to 6 games. I agree with you and admit that the Florida Panthers dominated play and played better. But you cannot deny the fact that Igor Shesterkin's ability to steal even a series was there. So, and I never said I was surprised by the outcome to begin with, so I don't know where you're getting that from to begin with, but I don't know. I have no clue. But all I know is that they have to move. I don't care what core guy it is. One of them has to go at minimum. I would say 2. And the guys that I look at, it's obviously Trouba, and I don't know. It's one of the guys up front have to go. But again, probably won't happen. And this is it too. That's where the disappointment comes in. Not like we're not mad, we're disappointed because they have the talent, just no heart, no dog, no killer instinct, whatever word you want to use. None of it. And I agree with you with the Carolina series. But that's where, again, the Rangers had Igor. That's what it is. But I don't know. I've been going for an hour now, so my voice is kind of just dead at this point. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm just so disappointed. I really am. But thank you guys so much. Whether you're new, whether you've been listening through the entirety of the season, I want to thank every single one of you that did tune in to any post game, even if it was just one throughout the entire season. I really do appreciate it. The support that you guys gave was unbelievable. Like this channel took a growth that I never could have imagined, and I was really hoping that I would get to celebrate a Stanley Cup with you guys on this channel and potentially hit 3K subs even because of the fact that you guys want to, share that moment. And unfortunately, we didn't get it. And we have to just see what happens and hope that next year's different. But we will find out. So I appreciate every single one of you guys that tuned in. Love you all to death. We'll be streaming still throughout the off season. Unfortunately, though, until October or until September, I guess, because preseason, even though some people don't care, but some people do because we're psychos. But preseason, of course, post-game reactions will be making a return because I'm a sucker. And I do this every single game. I clear my schedule for this team, and it won't be any different this fall. It just won't. Like I said, the only thing we could hope that's different is the product on the ice, and in terms of that, them winning. So thank you, everyone, for another great season of post-game recaps. Really do appreciate it. Whether we argued, whether we laughed together, whether we cried together, whatever it might have been, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning into them. We'll be back at it again sometime soon. I have no ETA on when the next stream will be, maybe in a couple days. If it's not anytime soon, it's truly because I'm frustrated and it will be the draft. But I promise you guys to give some good off-season content. Thank you guys so much for watching, though. Leave a like on your way out of the post-game show here. Don't forget to subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're a Ranger fan. Turn on your notifications so you know I upload or go live on the channel next. And I will see you guys in the next one.